Exodus written by Moses. Summary: the written record of how God delivered his people from 400 years of slavery in Egypt. The lives of the people discussed are Moses, Miriam, Pharaoh, Pharaoh's daughter Aaron, and Joshua. The purpose of the book is to both record the historical account of Israel's slavery in Egypt and how God showed great power and miracles to force Pharaoh to release the Israelites, and also to present the laws of God, the 10 Commandments, to the Israelites. Exodus is the historical account of the journey from Egypt to the Promised Land. Timeline: written approx. 1450 BC, 1410 BC. Have you ever wondered how a nation breaks free from centuries of oppression? Let's explore that journey. The book of Exodus is an incredible story of liberation. It tells how God delivered his people from 400 years of slavery in Egypt. This account centers around key figures like Moses, Miriam, Pharaoh, and others. Exodus serves a dual purpose. First, it records Israel's harsh time in Egypt. Second, it showcases God's miraculous power to persuade Pharaoh to let his people go. The narrative starts with Moses, chosen by God to lead the Israelites. He faces Pharaoh, who refuses to release them. Through a series of 10 plagues, God demonstrates his might. The plagues include turning rivers to blood and sending swarms of locusts. Each event emphasizes God's power. Finally, after the last plague, Pharaoh relents. The Israelites leave Egypt, marked by the Passover. This moment is critical as it symbolizes their newfound freedom. The journey doesn't stop there. The Israelites trek toward the Promised Land. Along the way, God gives them laws, including the 10 Commandments. These laws shape their identity as a nation. Exodus is not just a historical account. It's about faith, liberation, and divine intervention. It teaches us about perseverance and the power of obedience to God. In summary, Exodus beautifully narrates the story of escape from bondage and the establishment of faith. It invites us to reflect on freedom and the strength found in faith. If you want to dive deeper into the story of Exodus, be sure to subscribe and explore more about its impact. As Moses stood before Pharaoh, the weight of his calling pressed heavily on his shoulders. "Let my people go," he proclaimed, voice steady yet resolute, knowing that the fate of an entire nation rested on his conviction. The overpowering presence of Pharaoh loomed before him, filled with defiance. "Who is this God that I should obey him?" Pharaoh challenged, dismissing Moses' plea as nothing more than an audacious demand. The tension in the air thickened as Moses gazed unwaveringly into Pharaoh's eyes. He knew that this confrontation was essential, a battle of wills that would echo through history. "The God of the Hebrews has sent me to you," Moses declared, his voice carrying the weight of divine authority. "If you refuse to heed his command, the consequences will be devastating, not just for you, but for all of Egypt." Pharaoh's arrogance hardened his heart further as he scoffed at the dire warning, oblivious to the impending judgment that loomed over his kingdom. As the days passed, darkness fell over Egypt, a harbinger of the judgments to come. The Nile, once teeming with life, turned to blood, an unmistakable sign of God's power. Amidst this dread, Moses stood firm, delivering each message with unwavering conviction. "Let my people go or face the wrath of the Almighty," he warned, the words echoing like thunder. Pharaoh, unmoved and stubborn, smiled mockingly. "I will not release your slaves," he jeered, blind to the suffering of his own people. The plagues continued, each more severe than the last. Swarms of frogs invaded every home, gnats filled the air, and livestock perished. Yet Pharaoh's heart hardened in obstinacy, forcing Moses to prepare for an eventual reckoning. As the plagues raged on, a palpable sense of despair gripped the land. Each day the Egyptians witnessed further manifestations of God's might, yet the heart of Pharaoh remained unyielding. In the shadows, the Israelites endured their suffering, looking to Moses as their beacon of hope. "Have faith, for deliverance is near," Moses reassured them, rallying their spirits with every promise of freedom. But Pharaoh's laughter echoed through his palace, oblivious to the growing turmoil within his kingdom. As the final and most grievous plague approached, the time for decision was drawing near. A collective breath was held in anticipation, for the next act would change the course of history and seal the fate of both the oppressor and the oppressed. Each heartbeat echoed with the weight of the moment, the climax of a divine confrontation that would lead to salvation at long last. The Israelites awaited a sign, their faith kindling a fire that would ultimately ignite their journey toward freedom. The night of the final plague arrived, cloaked in an ominous silence. Moses gathered the Israelites, urgency in his voice as he instructed them on the Passover, their sacred meal. "With lamb's blood on your doorposts, the angel of death will pass over your homes," he emphasized, instilling hope amid fear. Each family prepared with trembling hands, but faith blossomed in their hearts. As midnight approached, a sense of profound anticipation settled in the air, marking a turning point that would forever alter their destinies. With the stroke of midnight, a piercing wail shattered the stillness, echoing through the streets of Egypt. The firstborn sons, from Pharaoh's palace to the lowliest home, succumbed to the devastating decree. As heartbroken cries filled the night, Pharaoh awoke, his disdain transformed into dread. At last, he summoned Moses, desperation clawing at his voice. "Go, take your people and leave," he commanded, realizing too late the power of the God from whom he had defied.